This is in UK. Today, our biggest topic is disrupting pharma, medicine for all. And first of all, before we go ahead and discuss our topic, I would like first of all to thank the Bangladesh Institute of Strategic Studies and also Observer Research Foundation for organizing this wonderful event. As you know, we have a lot of challenges in the pharmaceutical industry. And from the recent report from United Nations, we know that more than 2 billion people worldwide don't have enough access to essential medicines. One of the biggest challenges, of course, pharma industry is facing is lack of companies who want to invest in research and development, especially for real diseases like cancers. And also another challenge as well is also around legal framework where, for example, trade agreement can cause a lot of delays in terms of making available medicine to people in need. I would like to introduce, we have a wonderful panelists here. First of all, on my right, I would like to introduce our distinguished panelist, Winnie Munene, Head of Integrated Healthcare Services, Merck, from Kenya. On my left as well, I would like to introduce Sheetal Ranganathan, Vice President and Global Head of Life Science. Evalueserve, welcome to you. Finally, and also I would like to introduce our distinguished panelist, His Excellency Professor Habibe Millat, Chairman of Advisory Group on Health, and also member of Parliament of Bangladesh. And I also get this opportunity, I want to, first of all, the first question goes to you, if you don't mind. My question is related to, of course, to one of the biggest challenge pharmaceutical industries is facing. For example, when they want to produce medicines, want to market their products. First of all, there is a patent agreement, for marketing, and also license for distributing and also marketing their product, which is sometimes there is a lot of bureaucracy involved. I just want to ask you, for example, from someone from the government, what is Bangladesh government is doing in terms of streamlining the process and making sure that those quality and also affordable medicine are available to people in need. Thank you.
Thank you. Affordable medicine, of course, quality medicine, and our government and our political commitment is towards that. In Bangladesh, there are more than 250 pharmaceutical industry. 30 years ago, we used to import more than 70% of our country demand. Now, we fulfill about 98% of the country's demand, and we export in 113 countries all over the world. This is because of our government has done some regulations and strict laws that we can help the pharmaceutical companies. As you know that in 1984, and the drug policy was declared, and then it was revised in 2015. These are the business friendly and also friendly for the patient. That's why we have the success. Pharmaceutical success story of Bangladesh in the pharmaceutical sector. As you know that we still have some limitations, like new technology. We are exporting, including North America, UK, Australia, but still we have some deficiencies. Like we are still in need of raw materials, pharmaceutical ingredients. Our government has given a huge is building a huge pharmaceutical park API park, actually active ingredient park in very close to Dhaka. And that's why we are dependent on other country at the moment for the active ingredient. Other than that, all the technologies are here, all the expert manpower are here, and our products are quality products, and we can challenge that it's cheaper than any other country in the world. That's because of government support and also private sector came forward. This sector is booming. Even we'll be happy to know that Bangladesh, one of the least developing country, which is leading in the pharmaceutical sector among the 59 countries. And also with the TRIP, as you know, that the TWO, Trade Organization, World Trade Organization, WTO, that has been given us, all the least developed countries, the TRIPS agreement until 2032. It helps very much because it made the medicine cheaper and also encourage the people to involve in the pharmaceutical sector, and also competition makes more good qualities. So I feel and I think that the way we are heading in few years time, I don't know who will be the top ranking pharmaceutical in the world, but we will be first class pharmaceutical industries in our country. We have that, we'll have more in near future.
Thank you. On adding on that, do you think that there's, for example, any lesson learned from, of course, what you have been explaining, and also do you think that there is anything you could have done better, to improve, the framework and also the process?
Always there is a scope to make it better.
Yeah.
And I think one thing we are still behind, that is research and development. It actually takes a lot of money and a lot of expertise. Okay. So we need help in this sector. But still our pharmaceutical sector are working on that, and hopefully it will improve. And also say bioavailability test. We didn't have bioavailability test few years ago. We have to go to different countries, spend more money and increase as because of the expenditure rises, the prices of the product, final product was high. But at the moment, we are still doing that and we are improving on that. Our only problem, not only problem, main problem is that the price of the API, active ingredient, is raising. Yeah. And that's why we want to keep the price down, but we cannot do that because of, the main material is getting increasing price day by day. Yeah. So that is our main problem. I will request all the companies, especially the big companies, world-renowned companies, that they should come forward and, when they keep the patency, we need to buy that, and it actually increases the price of the medicine, and the sufferer is the poorest people. As you said that half of the population of the world doesn't have the access to the healthcare facilities. About 800 million people pushed to poverty they spend for healthcare, and also more than 100 million people spend more than 10% of their household income every year. Again, the poverty is related to that. So we urge everybody to make less profit and help the people.
Yeah, thank you very much, Professor Habibe. My next question goes to Winnie Munene, and we know that, for example, on the Africa continent, the biggest challenge is in supply chain, where, for example, the medicine are distributed, and to make sure that also we are monitoring where the medicine are coming from and where they're going, and to make sure that we have quality medicines. I just want to ask you, is any challenge you are facing in that area? Is any things you are putting together to make that process, much better, for everybody? Thank you.
Great, thank you so much, Clement, for your question. And thank you, BIS and ORF, for inviting us to this global dialogue. Just to answer your question, yes, supply chain is a huge challenge in Africa currently, and even more specifically in Kenya, where I am practicing pharmacy. We have been in many conversations, even as multinational companies, leave alone generics or the local manufactured products, where supply chain seems to be the top problem on the list when you look at the challenges of healthcare access in Africa and emerging economies. You speak about things like clearing of medicines at the port, or even getting the marketing authorization certificates from the regulator, issues of quality and how to fulfill quality requirements from the regulator, to very mundane challenges like last mile delivery. You know, the people in the rural areas not being able to access very old molecules, if I'm allowed to say that, because there's just no infrastructure to deliver the drugs either in the hospitals or in the healthcare facilities in the rural areas. But we see more and more, you know, Africans within their own environment trying to develop technologies and innovate around some of these challenges for supply chain, which also doubles up with things like quality and also the cost. So one of the companies that's actually doing really well has been in existence in Africa for the last 6 years. It was founded in Ghana, and it's called Pharma. So basically, they prided themselves with being the largest pharmaceutical platform in Africa, and what they're doing is they are really focusing on streamlining last mile delivery of prescription medicines. They are working with multinational companies, insurance companies, and even government agencies to build a platform where people are able to access medicines, they're able to see where to find the medicines, they're able to even order the medicines for home delivery or facility delivery, and at the same time connecting the payers with the drug manufacturers, so and bringing in the financial institutions to cover some of this cost or even to give credit to costs. So for example, people who are buying chemotherapy cycles, which costs anything between $1,000 to $5,000 per cycle. Pharma is able to provide a platform where someone can actually access some of these chemotherapy cycles for credit and pay over time. And what they're doing is they're just bringing together the prescriber, the financial institution, and the patient, as well as the pharmacy or the distribution channel. They're bringing them together, connecting them together, and trying to solve each and every one of their problems. Because, for example, the pharmaceutical companies are not able to bring the medicines to Africa if Africans cannot pay. The patient is not able to use the medicine or even get treated if they don't have the money. So what Pharma is doing is trying to bring all these people in the platform and get them to talk together.
Okay, fantastic, thank you. My other question as well, as we know, all the parties will have to work together in order to improve, the pharmaceutical industry. It's not only government, also private companies as well have to have like a big role, to play. And also, I know, for example, in Africa, some companies, pharmaceutical companies, of course, they say their medicine, they say their drugs. But also what we want to see also is their role in terms of participating, and also in terms of contributing, and also in terms of educating as well people. So my other question as well I want to ask to Sheetal, what she think should be the role of pharmaceutical companies.
Sure, thank you. So again, I would like to thank ORF and BISS for hosting this wonderful discussion, and the panelists. I think they've raised very good points. And for whatever we've discussed so far, it's been clear that countries, the governments, NGOs such as Gavi or Medicines Patent Pool, they've been working for years in ensuring that there is accessibility and affordability so that medicines are available for all. It has been mostly unidirectional and mostly related to medicines that have gone generics. What about innovative medicines? These are because the epidemiology profile of the world is changing. Of course, infectious diseases are as prevalent as they were, But then people are falling more to lifestyle diseases, and this is no longer, a factor of the economic conditions. In India, in Bangladesh, the prevalence of diabetes or cardiovascular diseases is as high. These were known to be first world diseases earlier. So it's not just for, generic medicines, it's also for innovative medicines. And there I feel pharmaceutical industry can become a shared stakeholder rather than being forced to do things. And now there are ways to do it, at least in Europe and the US. The regulatory bodies have become almost like watchdogs. So they are questioning the pharma industry that any new, any new innovation or treatment that they bring to the patients or to the market is not just an incremental one. They have to produce proper clinical and experimental evidence to be, claiming the premium of price that the pharmaceutical industry generally does. So I think that's really going to be the future. And pharma is now getting used to this. So I think it is being pushed to becoming a shared stakeholder. There is also a need to change the mindset going forward, especially as far as innovative diseases or medicines are concerned, which is that pharmaceutical industry or pharmaceutical manufacturers are not the only ones who are in the value chain of bringing a new drug to the market. They're the last one, because they help in commercializing. Most of the technology and science is actually developed at public institutes or universities, which further lead to, pharma picking up a promising technology or a molecule to be able to bring it to the world. So I think when somebody does a cost-benefit analysis of bringing innovative medicines, the cost is not just what a pharma company spends. The cost is also what a state has spent over years and the public has paid for it. If this element is brought into the consideration, I think the future will see a different way of pharmaceutical manufacturers pricing the drugs, especially the innovative ones, so that they are available across countries as far as affordability is concerned. The second point I would like to make is about technology. With cloud computing and artificial intelligence and digital health, I think there is now a real case of bringing the cost of production down in terms of being able to look at newer ways of finding a lead or a target of a new drug. So much has now been open in as the research in genomics and metabolomics is coming out. Similarly, clinical trials, they can become more efficient because of technology. So that itself should bring the cost of production of the drugs much lower than what it has been over the years, where it has been mostly developed in wet labs. Yeah, and Professor Millat had already made that point. When pharma takes the, a shared stakeholder role, I think the R&D focus of pharma will also change. So instead of, spending the well-earned dollars or euros on bringing just incremental innovations, R&D productivity can increase if they actually look at the real, diseases that are really affecting our nations, for example. There is so much of antimicrobial resistance. We still do not have a new world antibiotic, but who is researching on that? And that's really the governments and the countries pushing the cause. If pharma also takes up the cause, the industry, and of course the incentives of the governments can be driven to make sure that they, there is enough reason to do so. Maybe they can take it in a, as a combined project of 3 or 4 companies coming together to share the cost as well as the profits. I think that's where the future lies.
Yes, thank you very much. I think I'm very much encouraged by the highest level of participation today, and also I'm very confident that today's dialogue will further inspire us, in terms of finding a new direction and also strive, for innovation. Thank you very much, everybody. That was really a wonderful panel, and thank you very much for your contribution.
Thank you.
And
Thank you.
wish you success, and thank you very much.
Thank you.